everybody, I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Here we go with more ad-lib, more improv with the amazing Scott Parkin. Scott.
Yeah?
Mr. Gravy. Is there a point where the ad-lib and the improv, say in an audition situation, that it can go too far?
Absolutely. I haven't found that point, no, because they never call back. I'm sure. And there are times when you make a calculated risk and go, I'm gonna. I read there was a description. I wish I should have printed it up. It was for a restaurant, a neighborhood restaurant. That
Want
sounds
an
like
apple?
Smapplebee's. Are those real?
Apples, yes.
Okay. And the description of it was such a dichotomy that I read the description and submitted it as my audition because it was.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's hilarious.
And I didn't feel like I was probably going to get it anyway, and I was feeling good that day, and I just had something else. But you do stretch out. There are times when that works, and there's times when that doesn't work.
Did you get it?
They haven't called
He's
yet.
still waiting.
Because that would be really
sure.
Wait, is your phone ringing?
Yeah.
Is your tape
it's
ringing?
I've done that on camera commercials.
That's why you carry your demo everywhere you go, right? Your cassette.
where the shoot day is like the day I'm calling. I'm also on camera with Jennifer at DPN, who's wonderful.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, they're shooting today. I'm like, yeah, but I still feel like they're going to call.
There's a chance.
When I left,
they could wardrobe you on set.
They said, thank you, you did great. So
I did great.
Yeah, I booked the room, so that means I'm going to book the
that's
job.
the other thing is when like someone goes, I said, well, what are you doing? I'm driving all over Los Angeles to see if someone likes me. Because it's like, hey, do you like me?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't, that's okay. I'll drive over at 4:30 tomorrow from Venice to Burbank and see if you like me.
Yeah.
And if or one of the other ones was like, if they think that Scott Parkin is going to come back over to audition for Miller Lite, you tell them that I will bring coffee. What would they like? Yeah, you got to put your foot
Take
down.
that.
It really, we really are. You're pitching at all times. And I've always remembered the catfish one comes from Grandy's in Dallas, and I did 46 takes, A, B, and C. That means 3 each. So that's
46
carry the one.
times 3.
Our friends that are smarter in other countries who don't have the United States education system.
138.
Thank you. So all of that it's the big dish of catfish. 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 Like, you're 20 and you're like, it's a big dish, there's fish. There's fish. It's the big dish of catfish. Yeah. Throw it away. It's a big dish of catfish. Take 2 seconds off and put the smile in. It's a big dish of cat, And I did all those and they were like, what was that one you did a while ago? And I said,
like number 2?
It's the big dish of catfish. Yes. But that was the closest, and I was, doing really well at the time, and that was the closest I've ever gone to going. I can't do it. And I thought, and then you have to make a game of. I thought, well, what would I say? And I was like, who'd be great at this? Someone else. And drop the phones and walk out. I still have never ever done that because as an actor, you're like after every gig, you're like, they're never going to hire me again. I'll never work again. I'm going to die penniless.
No. You always have to be cool, man. That's your job, is to give them what they want.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, you've made the choice to do it.
Absolutely.
So you can always choose not to. So
no, it's true.
Do you audition mainly from home, or do you actually go to DPN to?
I really like. This is going to sound like such a suck up, but they really can't do anything for me, so it isn't. I really like the VO community. Yeah. I have home stuff, and I do it once in a while, but I really prefer going
into the agency.
Yeah, I like having Carol Casting and Elaine Craig. I like seeing them in there, and Jeff Howell. They're great directors, and Huck at Voicecaster. I like the interaction, and that keeps me from drinking by myself in the fetal position as well.
Yeah.
No, I do like mixing it up, and I do feel like I do better when I'm looking at people and they're talking. They can sculpt it a little better because you can get so pedantic.
Yeah,
that means annoying.
Yeah.
At home, anytime I try it, I'm like, God, that's not good, and then I'm not as good technically. So it takes me longer, and then I really do feel my head is split in two. If I'm thinking, am I popping? Am I doing? If I'm thinking about that, I'm not as funny or as loose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people out there,
A lot of people are at home.
Are at home.
Yeah,
They
I
don't have that
I know.
option.
Well, some of them work so much that they don't have time to drive.
Mm-hmm.
I
that's
still
true.
currently have the time to drive, and I really do. I like people for the most part. Andy Milder, I'm not a fan of, but I do. I like people, and I like mixing up in the lobby. And I'm a writer, so I write sitcoms and pilots and stuff and stories. And if you're at your house, you just don't interact with folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need the
absolutely.
stimulation.
And you can get, I can get really. I'm a single dad, so I have my daughter week on, week off.
Yeah.
Single. I play hard to tolerate, more than hard to
Boy,
get.
tell me about
They've
it.
got your email for Skype coaching
Oh, that's
or
right.
otherwise, but
That's
we'll stay out
right.
of that part.
They're all looking for a
That's-
guy with a lot of debt and an ex-wife who's crazy. So the point is, I like to get out there and mix it up, and that's more fun for me. So I go into DPN whenever I can.
So for the people that,
Yeah.
that can't,
They can't.
that are not at your level, but
Right.
trying to get to your level, they
Yes.
can't. Maybe
How do you replicate that?
Yeah, how do you replicate that little feeling that you get there in front of people to actually perform?
Vicodin? No, I would say, I would say,
That would be for the warm.
don't get the
For the
super
warm
Okay, for
Or
those
for the
people that don't have
buttery-
a prescription plan
Yeah.
Right.
or any
I
friends
don't
on the
know.
street,
I would say talk to someone you know before you start. Like talk to your mom.
Yeah.
Get on the phone and get in that vibe where you're with people. Because if you're super secluded, and it's saying be real and conversational,
Yeah.
you can kind of lose that. You get people they mark up. I just don't do it that way. I'm sure it works for other people.
No,
but for
this
me,
is good.
I try
you
not
don't,
to
you
think
don't mark
about
up
it.
your copy at
I
all.
don't.
You try not to think too much about it.
I
You
try
read
not
what
to.
the breakdown and say, okay, I'm going
Right.
with this. Boom.
The what
there
now?
You go.
No, I do.
how would it-
I will read the description a lot of times.
that paragraph at the bottom,
little paragraph at the bottom.
stack.
I always
What?
thought that was like
Yeah.
a story or
Where they
something about
usually-
another
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you always thought that was the audition.
Yeah, I just,
apparently.
Oops.
I have to find that description for you. I sent it to all the casting directors and
Yeah.
all the people I know because the description was this long and was like
2 lines.
absolutely, like Robert Cates' what favorite one, and I love it. It was like Jackie Mason, but not Jewish.
Yeah.
Mm.
How do you do that?
Well, you don't. It's diametrically opposed. And you're going to get that. And we talk about what do you do when you get that stuff because you can see the battle going on
Yeah.
between, and another thing we talk about is that radio is kind of the bastard stepchild. They'll usually throw it to the up and coming copywriters. So they're, hey, they're really working hard on it. So you can't just throw out what they've written because it's
Exactly.
really important to them. And
Yeah.
it may,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't just throw out stuff like, oh, I can do this better. You find out how you can help it and support it. You don't.
Yep.
You don't go, wow, what the hell happened, huh?
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not your place to judge it. You have to
Absolutely.
make
You
it
can
the
judge it,
best
but
it can be.
quietly,
Exactly.
like you
Don't
are with
record
my
the
outfit.
judgment.
Right.
But listen,
Listen,
I
I'm a
appreciate
spring.
a
I
lot
can do a
of
brighter color.
patterns. I have pictures of me with plaids and stripes. And
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what advice?
Go on.
Check this out. Now I want you to think about this,
Okay.
man, because we got people watching our show from all over the world.
I know, you said 87
And
countries.
yeah, and
And she
voiceover-
said, who knew there were so many? Which I
Right,
thought was
true,
damn
but there
funny.
are.
I mean, the glow, it spends
There's
so fast.
tons.
Yeah.
And everybody's at a different level, and there are
Mm-hmm.
people that are living in literally Charlotte, North Carolina, that have a successful voiceover
Absolutely.
business.
It's never been more prevalent. You're able to
Absolutely.
do- you
And then
can
there
do
are
that.
people right here in LA, in the mecca of the voiceover industry, who aren't
Can't get
making any
around
get
cash.
it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on.
So if you're a good friend,
Right.
all right, you have a buddy, he's really
Andy.
Andy.
Say.
Okay, you love him, right? Somebody that you really care about.
Yeah.
And they asked you, "Hey Scott, man, I really wanna make it in this voiceover business, man. What are some things that I can do to really get me started off on the right track to actually have some success?" What advice would you give them?
I would shake them and go do something else. No, you're not good enough. Damn.
No, you don't wanna
I
kill
would
his
say-
dream.
No,
You
no,
wanna-
you would say. I would say, find out. Bryan Cranston answered that question when someone. It's a much different level. We're voiceover, which is not the top of the totem in Hollywood. But someone said, well, should I act? And he said, can you do something else? Because if you don't really want to do this, he goes, I have to do this.
Okay.
And that guy acts like he has to do this.
Absolutely.
And if you really want it, if you want to go at it, you need to find where you fit. Find the center of where my center is. Wow, that's cool. How many of those? Wow. So that's coffee. Huh. I like it. I like it. My dad likes coffee, whatever that is. And then the other end of that is at Rent-A-Center, you can get all, and then the other end is, if I drive just a little slower, maybe I can hang on to my daughter just a little longer. So I have to hit everything here, and I have to hit as much as I can on all sides, right? So if I get I used to get more, I was Audi thing, and I got to do it right the day I found out I was having a daughter, an ultrasound, so it killed, and it was great, but I don't get much of that stuff, but I can do it. Right? So you got to find out what's your main voice, what's your money voice, what's going to get you the most amount of work. And then you got to work on expanding that, right? Find out, listen to the radio, listen to television. There's spots on the internet. Find out where you fit, and don't imagine that you're in a time when people care, in a place where no one smelled. You're not, it's not, there are people that do that. If you do all the Simpsons voices, great. Move away from that. Like all the like Hank Azaria says, like Chief Wiggum is a bad Edward G. Robinson. Ha ha ha! Let him go, boys. He started there and moved away from it. And Frank is Jerry Lewis. So if you do those, great. But there's somebody that's already doing that. Yeah. Find something that you do really well, and then build on either side of that.
Right.
And go at it. Practice. Like Dee Baker's. I watched him in a panel. With Lorraine Newman and Maurice LaMarche, and he says he does all these sounds and stuff in the car. Yeah. We're in our cars all the dang time. So that is when you practice. You practice your voice, you talk to the radio. This has audio, really good audio record. It's not that hard to go, whatever voice you're going to do, remember that. And you gotta work at it, and you gotta go hard. Yeah. And you have to hit that. You have to try and do animation. You have to voice industrials. You have to hit it from every angle you possibly can. Because it really is a numbers game, and it's a shotgun. You have to, and maybe you cut through. And, I had Saturn for a while, and I had Miller beer, and it was, a third less calories and twice the taste of Bud. That was it. And that was one of the best ones forever. Yeah. Sadly, that was before I was divorced, so a lot of that beer money went away. But you'd be amazed at the things that actually do well. And when you think I did Fresh and Easy for a long time, which was it was a very soft sort of, this is a commercial for Fresh and Easy Market with real customers. And my buddy used to go, I could kick that guy's ass. Because my girlfriend called at the time said it was like a warm radio hug. Yeah. So that you never know what's going to hit. So find out what you're good at, and then build on either side of that until you find some other things that you expand your quiver of arrows. Yeah. Take classes. Go see some people that you like and that you respect. Find out what they do. Don't just take any class because someone has a picture with a mic. I'm so sick of the pictures with the microphone.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm going to ditto that.
Are you?
I hate it. I took a
unless
bunch
it's a Neumann Sennheiser.
Yeah,
well,
of course.
It's a nice
Neumann Sennheisers need to be everywhere.
We love them. Our sponsors.
There,
oh, is it really?
Right here, right there.
That's why you
kidding,
sound
really?
so good.
No.
She's right.
Neumann Sennheiser rules.
We love our Neumann Sennheisers.
That's
but you're
cool.
right.
Yeah. But everybody on Facebook has a picture next to a mic, and so I started doing ones with mics in my head like this. Yeah. Because we get it. You're at a job. We're all trying to work, so
Yeah, and on that a little bit. Because today, first of all, it's really important to take classes. I know guys that are making 6 and 7 figure incomes in the VO biz who take some classes still.
Yeah.
So
they're ceramics mostly.
Yeah. So exactly. So nobody's really
above.
Right. Exactly.
Learning.
You're never done.
But the thing is today with Skype, you could actually take classes from a really great coach and somebody who has something really valuable to offer, like you.
Right, hopefully.
No matter where you live.
No, it is.
How cool is that?
The internet changed everything.
Yeah.
It's changed top to bottom, every aspect of, I think, every industry, and certainly ours. You can work with people that you can hear somebody on a TV spot and go, hey, does that guy coach?
Yeah.
And I think you can learn a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'll add to your coaching thing
No, go.
is don't just coach with one person.
Right.
Because
Right.
that guy's going to teach you something, and then she's going to teach you something else that's different.
Right.
That actually you might get more, you might relate with that a little bit better to get what you need out, but they're both right.
Right. And you'll create something between the two.
Exactly.
You take what you get from what you can. And also if you get
Yeah.
in a session with somebody that you respect, or you can learn even auditions, you can learn so much from auditioning and watching someone else and going, man, that guy's good. That girl's good. That girl's super
Absolutely,
solid.
yeah.
And what was you drive home, you think, what was it? What was it? Was it the truth? Was it the way she used her hands when she was talking, and she was like, oh my God, whatever it was, you gotta be a sponge, pick up as much as you can. It takes luck too. It takes luck.
Yeah,
It takes
absolutely.
It takes being willing to do stuff on spec. I want you to voice this thing. It's for a silly internet animated thing, but hey, I don't get to do that. I'll try that.
Yep.
Right,
I do a
right.
lot of favors for friends, and it does pay off. One ad agency guy moves to another ad agency, and then he exposes your work to all those people, and then that agency blows up, and they all end up everywhere. So everybody, you don't discount everybody, or don't discount anybody.
Yeah.
And be on time, be low maintenance. When you hear someone go,
So important.
I had someone go, you are so easy to work with. I'm just like, what do the other guys do? Because I'm freaking happy to be here.
Yeah, or they say thanks for being here
Yeah.
on time.
Yeah.
Thanks for the money
Thanks
and
for
the food.
showing
Are you
up.
going to eat
Yeah,
that? Are you all
yeah.
going to finish that?
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So we asked him a tiny little question, what advice he would give to his good friend, and you
Right.
guys got like a bunch
Beautiful.
of
true.
good
Beautiful.
stuff. No, but
Give-
this is great, man,
Yeah.
because that's what we need, and people need to be educated and given the right information. There's so many sources for
Right.
for
No.
information out there, and I gotta say, man, there are a lot of bad sources.
There are.
There are some good sources, and then there's a lot of bad
Like
sources.
everything else.
Yeah.
Like farmers
But many
market.
times you can learn what you shouldn't do from people too, so
That's
that can
true.
be valuable
That's
as
true.
well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? After voiceover,
I-
what? You're gonna do what?
I have
Fly a plane, or?
I wrote my buddy Ed Yeager wrote a show loosely based on my life, not so anyone would sue, as a single dating dad called Gary Unmarried. That got on the air at CBS for 2 years. So I wrote for that, and I worked on Bill Daly's pilot. He's at Mike and Molly now, so I'm still writing that, and
Fabulous.
then I'm in a pilot called Hotel Security from Mechanism, and I can't say anything else about it.
Okay.
That's good.
It's
That's
at
enough.
it's at a 3-letter agency, and they're looking. We did a sizzle,
Yeah.
and it did very well, and they like it. So it's just such a crapshoot. It was
Fantastic.
Love
a
it.
year and a half ago. So
Yeah.
So
Takes
I'm going to
time.
be I'm coaching a lot, and I'm really digging it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's something that wouldn't have come
Yeah.
unless I showed up at Mary Lynn's and said, I said, look, I have a basic idea what we're going to do. I know how to do what I do. I'm not sure how to explain it.
Yeah.
But I bet we'll get to it. And she was really sweet. She was like, no, I have no dog in this fight, but you did really great.
Yeah.
Everyone was really happy. And 3 or 4 of those people said, let's do privates. And then they told people.
Yeah.
So that's been really bitching. I'm really having a good time doing
well,
that.
and that's cool, man. I mean, you're like the guy. It's like, hey, if you live in a rural area and you have no friends, now you have a friend that you can
got
just
a
call
friend.
up anytime. Hey, Scott, can you help me out? Yeah.
That's right. I'm your friend.
He's your friend. You're like
the rural
the digital
juror.
friend. My digital friend.
love
That sounds.
Very,
Okay,
very
we'll go
cool,
with that.
man.
So what other current projects have you got going on that you can talk about? And are there any of your projects that you've done that are or going to do that are like your favorite that you really feel like
Gosh,
stretched
there's.
you?
I've been 2 short films. One of them's a long film, and that is Drugs and Other Love. Noah Applebaum. He was a lovely bearded guy in the Dairy Queen spots singing this summer in the Pied Piper.
Oh yeah.
Hell of an actor, really funny dude, and he wrote a great movie, and I get to play a doctor in that. And it was really, really, it was very loose, wide open. Like,
Nice.
look, we know this is what you're going to be doing. Here's the end. Here's where we start, and go. So
Nice.
did that, and then I did another film with my buddy Troy Grant that's called Dirtbags. It's I think it's going to be pitched as a series, and it's I'm a surfer. I love surfing. So and he's one of my best friends forever, and he surfs, and so it's a surfing grifter conman sort of
Awesome.
thing, and it's called dirt bags because that's what we used to call guys
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
steal,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
not dirty like
Doink bag.
Yeah, he's a freaking dirt bag. He took my dime bag.
Yeah.
What? So that's almost done. So
Did you say my dime bag?
I almost did. I almost did.
Well, it's out there now.
Oh my God! Yeah, we know how much surfing you did.
Because the dime bag was always horrible.
Yeah.
So
Were you
that's
surfing
almost edited, and my buddy Ed's working on a couple things. He's ready to write. He gets to a point where he's like, I gotta write something. So hopefully get to work on that. I have a punch-up company called Joke Pass, and I'll do punch-up. So my jokes are on network TV shows. I'll have writers.
Beautiful.
Like before they turn, when you're at a writing table, they send you out on script.
Yeah.
And when you bring it back to the table, everyone tears it apart and puts it back together. But if you come back with a lot of great jokes, sometimes there are people, just like voiceover, there are people that are really good with story, and there are people that are better writing jokes.
Right.
I'm better with jokes than I am with this. I'm good at consulting on that, but
Yeah.
that's a skill set that I haven't really developed.
Right.
So people will send me a script, and I'll do like a 4-camera sitcom, and I'll do, I add like 8-10 jokes, and if 4 of them get in the script, then
Fantastic.
they're
Genius.
thrilled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and you get paid for each one?
No, I get a flat fee for a pass.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
One size fits all.
Well, you get as I
buy
listen.
one,
I can
get one
pitch
free.
20. I can pitch 20 jokes.
Buy one, get all free.
Yeah.
The rest free.
See, I thought buy one get one free. I was with my daughter at J.C. Penney, and I'm thinking, buy one get one half off. I really only wanted one.
Right.
And now I have 2, and I spent like half as much more than I wanted to.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But I got the single dad math. Like, wait a second.
Okay, so
Yeah.
clearly you're very busy. How do you balance your career and going
True.
after it and being a single dad?
I'll.
'Cause you
I'll
said your
shoot
daughter
a
still
straight-
talks to
she's
you, so that's
14.
good.
She's a musician. She's an artist. She's
Love
a
it.
blast. She has blue hair now. It was pink when we went to Comic-Con. Thanks, D. Baker, my hero. So, I on my kid weeks, it's so much more exciting because we went to see Imitation Game, which is an incredible film. And if Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't get nominated, or he's already nominated by now, so we go see movies. We did the Hunger Games marathon. So when I have her, it's a bunch of that. When I don't, I went last night, Last Man Standing's on a Tuesday night, so I'll go up there and beat jokes with my pal and hang out with them. I surf, so it keeps my head in the game. If I get out in the morning and surf, it makes me feel better. But you just do.
You just
know
do.
what I mean?
What's the best thing about being a dad?
God, it's just having your kid just blow you away. Like she wrote this song about supernatural, and she's perfect pitch, and I didn't know what her choir teacher said. She's got perfect pitch, and I said, I know she got a hell of a slider, but what the hell's perfect pitch? So she showed me what that is, and she writes this stuff, and she brings me a picture or something, and you just look at her like, wow, God, you could lock me on an island, and I couldn't.
You're
come
like,
up.
why couldn't I be that talented?
Yeah, hell, man.
Why did I have to pass it
why
on
am
so
I just
early?
tall?
I should have kept some of that.
Peaked at 13. No, everyone says, is that a fun age? And they're all fun. She's the coolest, funniest kid I know. And she does still talk to me. I do get eye rolls, and I do get, yeah.
Dad.
But, Dad, thanks, can you not? There was something happened at Halloween when she was in 8th grade. She's like, I thought this was really cool, because she's always been sort of like this, like, really eloquent and really good at sort of soft manipulation.
Yeah. Most
she
kids
said-
are, by the
I
way.
wonder where she gets
This
that
one-
from.
I don't know,
Scott?
right? Thanks for having the courage. She said, we were talking just before Halloween. She said, we were talking, and all the guys like Joe and Brian, and they all said, if we were going to have a parent come with us for Halloween, you would be the one.
Wow,
thought, oh.
that's big.
You're like, wow, that's
So
cool.
I'm not going. But that was a really nice way to say,
Yeah.
you're not coming. But, if we were going to pick somebody, Dad,
I like that.
everybody voted, and you would be it.
Yay.
So everyone got to feel good about it. So
Beautiful.
like,
So she
okay.
so it worked.
It worked perfectly. 'Cause
Nice.
I'm like the
love
cool
it.
dad. So
Yeah.
we do sci-fi Saturdays. My buddy Brian Slack, who's a chief engineer and voting academy member, he's hanging out in the guest house for a while. So we set up a big screen. He put together a screen on like a drop cloth, about a drop cloth, and he's really smart. And then he has a projector, so we showed Forbidden Planet on the front lawn, and
cool.
got little prizes from Earth 2, the comic store, and then another comic store, and Dave & Buster's, and we did a raffle. And so, you know, it rocks pretty. And Maurice came out. Miranda sang, you know, there's words to the opening of Star Trek. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Beyond the Edge of Tomorrow. Wow. Roddenberry did a really cool thing. The people that wrote the song, he maintained the option to write lyrics to it.
Oh, smart.
So right, and so once he did that, he got half the royalties for every time it played, because at the time he went, this thing's gonna go a year, Star Trek. I gotta make some money off this.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
So
Little
it's called Beyond the Edge of Tomorrow. So
Wow.
Maurice did Space, the final frontier.
Oh,
He introduced it, and
gosh.
she sang the song,
That's
and then we
awesome.
showed Forbidden Planet, which is
So
great. And then we
cool.
did Flash. We did Flash Gordon. Flash. So it rocks pretty good.
That's
when,
cool.
when the kid is there. When she's
Yeah.
not, it's a little slower. So,
Yeah.
but you know
Yeah.
that you know, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes
You are cool, Dad.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna agree with your little
Hey,
daughter
Scott, are there any life lessons that you've learned along the way that have helped you just keep pushing through, especially those times when it's slow or you're hearing no more than yes?
Just say no.
Yeah. Well, Ed always said, when you get the money, you win. No matter how hard the gig is, no matter how bad you feel about it, if you get paid at the end of it, then you win. That's one. And don't believe it when it's going well. Don't buy into the old BS, or don't listen to your own press when it's going well, and don't listen when it's going poorly, because it'll do both.
Right.
And what else? Ed said, you know, when you move here, you got to be happy with where you live, because some of the crap in between sucks. So if you're happy in your house, and you're happy with, and I live on the west side, they're gonna drag me kicking and screaming where the air. I like the beach a lot.
Yeah.
I'm happiest in the water. I'm a Pisces. I have gills in this area.
Yeah.
But if I can get to the beach, I mean, it makes me happier. When I'm in the water, I'm happier.
Yeah.
So get in the water would be one for me, and slow down. You know, I talk fast, I move fast, everything happens quickly, so slow down. Listen is a really good one.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And that's hard for me, because in radio, you know, I'm listening and trying to process, and then you just say, you have one in the chamber, like if you're saying something, I've got something funny to say about what you said 12 seconds ago. So you gotta let that one go, throw it out and keep moving.
Absolutely.
So, and improv there's no more important time than listening on stage. If you don't hear what they're saying, you're doing a parallel scene.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
helped a lot.
Yeah.
So did I answer that
I
question?
love it.
I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
You gave us like
fantastic.
a million
Listen,
answers to
surf,
that one question. Oh boy,
Scott?
we're putting you on the hot seat.
All right. So okay, that's a question, a book of questions.
Yes.
Remember how
Okay.
you said to listen?
What now?
Remember earlier you just said you got to be a good listener?
Say what?
Right.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is the time to listen.
Okay.
Do you need me to speak louder?
Oh, no thanks. I had a steak at the house.
You ever been bitten by a shark,
Yeah.
man?
I have not.
Okay, good.
Please pick a number between 5 and 127.
83.
83. Okay.
Lucky 83.
Lucky 83 is
Okay.
always 83.
God, I hope it's a good one. Please be about cartoons.
It's not.
Oh, damn it.
Please be about cartoons, and it's not multiple choice either.
Can it be about types of ramen? No? Bet not.
If you could have worked for anyone in history in your own field, who would you choose?
See, Don Draper. No, see, I gravitate towards animation, like Mel Blanc or Dawes Butler, but I don't do that much animation. Commercial voiceover, could it work for?
Yeah, for somebody in your own field.
I'm gonna say Billy West. I would like to work for Billy West back when he was in radio. Radio. I would.
On the Howard Stern show.
Well, I would have liked to work with Billy more than Howard. I really like.
You would have made more money if you worked for
No,
Howard.
it's
though.
true, but it's a
No,
hypothetical.
but when Billy was on that.
imaginary
No,
money.
but when
Billy wouldn't
Billy
have paid
did the
you.
Howard Stern show.
Oh yeah. Gosh, old radio. Lohman and Barkley were a radio team in Los Angeles for the longest amount of time, and my old partner Kevin Anderson, when I was like maybe 22, played me a tape of theirs, and they were so good with nothing. They just had a sound effect of a train. And it's a train of mystery. And they just did this whole, and it was just great free-form, no net radio that I thought was really great. I would have loved to work for them. I would love to work, boy, that's such a great question. But if I can head into animation or TV, I would have loved to work with Norman Lear. I would have loved to written for Arrested Development. I thought that was a great show. God,
that's fantastic.
That's a shotgun answer, but
no, but that's good,
but
man.
Dawes Butler was just another genius,
for sure.
and such a nice guy from everybody. I'm lucky enough to know Billy and people that got to work with him. And there was a thing on NPR where somebody had written him, like, I really wanted to get into animation, and here's my voices, and he was now an NPR correspondent, and he had sent Dawes this thing just out of nowhere. And he was just a little guy in Poughkeepsie or somewhere, and Dawes sent him back a tape of him going, well, you got some good voices there. What you basically, you might want to lean this one a little more this way and go that, just this tutorial that he just sent the guy out of nowhere.
Awesome.
Wow.
I just love that kind of stuff.
Well, so many great, Nancy Cartwright, so many great people studied with him, and he
June Foray was also really some of those people that are still so. Look, I get if you want to be pompous because you're extremely talented and you can be that, but it's a choice. You don't have to be like that.
I don't get that at all.
I don't. But what I don't get more is somebody who has no talent and is still pompous.
That I get.
That you get.
That makes sense.
So, I guess. But
Hashtag awkward.
Right. Don't get me started. I like. There's so many people that I really admire that are so gracious and so kind. When I did stuff where people wanted my autograph, I was freaking thrilled.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Well, Scott, we think you're very gracious. We're so glad that you came on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
it was
for
so
everything.
Much fun, you guys.
You guys
really
need to get with him and email him wherever you
Absolutely.
are.
Oh, also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at C Gravy, California Gravy. Showbiz adjacent to California Gravy. And I really enjoy the Twitter. Yeah.
The Twitter.
The Twitter. The kids call it the Twitter.
Kind of like the Ramones, the Twitter. He's into punk rock.
He's on the Twitter.
Ooh, you know what else? Scott Parkin, actor, has. My daughter made a little YouTube channel of all my some HBO stuff,
Yes.
cool.
comedy, and
Yes,
some
got some
on-camera
good stuff
commercials
on YouTube.
So it's Scott Parkin, actor, because that's
Beautiful.
what I'm supposed to do.
Well, listen, you guys reach out to Scott. If you have no friends, now you have one.
Yeah.
You do. I'm your friend.
We're excited to see what happens next for you. And
Yeah, me
thank
too.
you so
Well,
much.
can you come to Maryland?
Yes.
and
I'll
hang
be
out?
there in February.
Okay, cool.
I'll
What
be
are you going to
listening.
wear? I'm going to wear something blue like
We can coordinate.
Like a Betsy Johnson
Do you want to
thing.
coordinate?
Of course.
Okay.
I'll call.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you guys for coming down
My
here.
pleasure,
We really
man.
appreciate it. We will see you guys next time.
How's that going? I just had the best freaking time of my life. I got buzzed with Chuck and Stacey. They were asking questions. I had to reveal my soul. I don't think I've ever been more vulnerable in my life. Things we said, the things we talked about, it changed the way I look at the world. I think it'll do the same for you, Jimmy. Just give it a watch. It's freaking free.
Well, that concludes our wonderful two-part episode with Scott Parkin. Be sure and catch us next week because guess what? We're going to have another show for you.
Absolutely. Keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. And just remember, you always have time for a little buzz.